Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody is doing very well out there. Um, we should be in business. We should be live. Good morning, good morning. Let's tune in to the charts here and see what we got going on. SPY, AMD, US Energy Group, RIG. These here, top of the list. Just a couple of the energy stocks I'm watching. Um, just going about the normal morning routine. Sorry if you've got that dishwasher going in the background. I'm about to cut it off. Just got to chill. All right, let's tune in. Let me know if there's something you guys are watching this morning. Let me know what you're watching. So yesterday we had, oil, natural gas pushed up crazy high. Brent crude was pushing 118 last night, 116 at the end of the day yesterday, and natural gas was pushing $5 a barrel, along with wheat futures limit up. So let's take a look at those. Brent crude 115.12. That's up a touch from earlier this morning. I think when I first awakened, it was about 113. So making a move back up. Let's check our wheat futures. Up again for the second day in a row. So this is where you want to be careful here. And I'll show you what I'm watching as it pertains to wheat. So again, your wheat and fertilizer plays are going to be decent things to keep an eye on. Those are two major exports of Ukraine and Russia. So it's interesting stuff there. The ES actually popped nicely this morning back above the 4,400 level, and I thought that was nice. Again, same thing as yesterday. I do feel a little overweight in this pre-market, and we'll see how that correlates today. And then natural gas. So that's up again. That's even higher than it was, and I think a lot of this is even on talks. Well, so I guess it was higher this morning, so it probably even pushed pretty close to $5 there. So your oil and natural gas are creeping back up. Your S&P futures, the ES, is creeping back up as well. One of them's right, one of them's wrong. They could both go up today. You never know. I just think with the move we had on the 5 and 10 year Treasury bond yields yesterday, it from speaking with my buddy John that sells municipal bonds, and just trying to learn a little bit more about bonds in general. So when yields go up like that, the physical spot price of the bond drops. And it's likely that due to inflation or the raising interest rate in the economy, your money to borrow now is worth less 5, 10 years from now. So in theory, these yields shooting up means the sale price is down, it's worth less. So that in theory should be a, what I imagine was probably a bonfire sale on the market yesterday. And so if people are fleeing the 5 and 10 year bonds, um, where are they going? What is a safe investment in a high inflationary environment? And so I had to do some thinking about this. What is a safe investment in a high inflation environment? And of course, it could be the commodity itself. It oil, food, gas, water, gold, physical, tangible resources that you could either use, uh, use as fuel or use as food, or something you could physically use to benefit your personal life. Because what becomes important in a high inflation environment is cash becomes important. So we'll see how the US dollar reacts. I didn't even really check it yesterday. It's not something that I follow too much. But if you do follow the relative strength of the dollar, let me know if that's something that was up or down yesterday. In theory, that should work. The dollar should be strong in a high inflation environment because people are unsure of the future, so they want the bird in the hand now. They want the cash in the hand now. So it just kind of becomes a flight to safety in being able to uh, be solvent in cash. Um, 1 second. My cup of coffee this morning was so good. Good morning. Tune in. Let's give you a 5-minute chart on some of these here. We could even go 30 minutes just to give you a little better action as far as where we were yesterday and possibly where we're going. Good morning, good morning. Let's tune in with ourselves so we can be present and hear for ourselves. And then we can show up and be able to handle anything that the day is going to bring to us. All right, so get in a nice comfy position. And we're going to breathe deep 10 times in, 10 times out. 10 breaths, 10 deep breaths. I like to go in and out through the nose. On the 10th exhale, we're going to release the exhale and hold it out as long as possible. The following inhale, we're going to hold it in as long as possible. And then we're going to release that inhale with a fire breath, a tongue out, mouth open. Exhale all the hot air out of the system. So 10 deep breaths in and out. Hold the 10th exhale out. Hold that following inhale in for as long as possible, and then exhale it all. Let it all go with a fire, open mouth breath. Right. We should feel good. We should feel great. The birds are chirping outside. I'm not sure how the weather's going to be in your neck of the woods, but weather's nice in Charleston here. My coffee this morning was so good. I'm just kind of going through the morning routine here. On behind me on the TV, I've got a momentum scanner, so I'm looking for kind of heavy gappers, volume weighted runners. And there's nothing really of value on the screen. You got ENSV and Servco, which was a oil and energy stock that I was potentially watching there, and it's really been your biggest winner from the evening. But we'll see. I mean, it's looking like some of these names want to come back and continue the run they had 2 weeks ago on the initial war entry, and kind of regressed last week. And it's just where I'm looking. If there's somewhere else you're looking, let me know. Our EVs, green pre-market. And again, yesterday we had green pre-market strength in some of the strong names. We had green, we had relative strength on the SPY. We had strength in Apple. We had strength in Tesla. We had relative strength in Costco and Google. So interesting that, and so we've got Bitcoin up this morning as well. I believe Bitcoin was at 42.5, pushing up to 43,000. So Bitcoin is pushing even higher. In a perfect world, if we could predict Bitcoin going higher overnight, BKKT, Hive, just some names I watch, Hut. So these are big moves. Again, this is all pre-market. So, my point bringing some of that up was the interesting thing we saw yesterday is we saw relative strength pre-market on SPY, Apple, Tesla, AMD, and those stocks actually went on to have decent days. So, it's not that the green pre-market means these are going to fail, but I mean, a decent day was relative yesterday because we did see, hey, nice green strong pre-market here, did rally and then fade, and then we rallied again and we faded hard again. So one thing I watch and keep an eye on is which direction has the more aggressive price action. Which direction are investors able to go in a hurry, to where like Friday we saw the upside in a hurry all last week, really. Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we saw that those candles just shoot up green straight up, you know no slowing down. And Servco is popping up another 25 cents from $4 to 4.25, now back down to 4.23. So we saw aggressive upward action, and that upward action actually continued. So as like yesterday, when we see at 11:30 now, or excuse me, 12 noon, when we had the transcript of a Powell uh, press conference at an economic convention. We had an aggressive move down, but we had the same aggressive move back down this morning. We get green candles up, and then, I mean, this is just straight down. So, whichever side the market is moving aggressively is the side that I expect that trend to continue, because, um, you know, and until we get headlines that really want to take the market higher, like a ceasefire, like a good in any report from the morning about inflation getting better, or the job market, or number of jobless claims down. So, until we start getting good economic data, in my opinion, there's nothing that's going to take this market higher. There's nothing that's going to bring us back to new all-time highs. There's nothing in the news cycle right now that's going to bring AMD up back to 160, Square back up to 225, in higher. So, okay, we got rig popping up here. This had a lot of volume traded yesterday. Um, let's see if we can get some of these other energy stocks to climb back up with these. Just checking to see if we had any moves for natural gas and oil. So we do have oil and natural gas creeping back up, and could be good if you're looking oil. wanted to get another cup of coffee going. Tune in. You even got Nike doing relatively well in the pre-market, and I know Nike had earnings. Let's take a look at Nike. Okay, so I mean, they must have put out a good earnings report. Let me see if I can figure out what their earnings was and report and share with you. Price target raised to 170 a share from 165 a share. Maintained outperform. Let's get you some earnings numbers. Come on, come on, come on. And I really thought Nike was going to have a bad earnings report because I believe it was Nike's second of the year. So Nike reports Q3 revenue 10.87 billion versus street estimate of 10.609 billion. EPS 0.87 per share versus the estimated EPS of 0.72. Nike brand sales at 10.3 billion over analyst consensus of 10. Net was 1.4 billion. Net profits, good. A beat by 15 cents on EPS. So Nike with a beat, and I also believe they may have guided well for 2022. So we'll see. We'll see. In my opinion, in a high inflation environment, what would you rather have, gas, or would you rather have a new pair of Nike sneakers? What's more important, food or Nike? Gas or Nike? Gold or Nike? Money or Nike? So when we have uncertainty, to me, retail is affected negatively. But that's just my opinion. Somebody may think, oh, oil's going to $5 a gallon. My 87, 88, 89, whatever you use to fill up's going to $5.50 a gallon. Let me go invest in some sneakers. No. People are just trying to get their paper towels and toilet paper and have enough to fill up the gas in the car and have a pantry full of fridge, and that's going to be, people are worried about their rent not going up, or what's going on in the housing market, whatever it is. I think I said yesterday that I still see the housing market continuing to be strong again with these rising yields. Though, I mean, we've got interest rates are going to be hitting all-time highs. Lows are going to be some of the record high interest loans that they're putting on right now. So I think yesterday, I know the loans were in the 4% a week ago, already expecting interest rates to go up. And, so they should be pushing towards 5. I think most people feel comfortable with the rates pushing towards 6, but, we'll see. is our big cap tech stocks a good investment in a high inflationary environment? In a sense, they are because they're safe. Because you know, Apple may sell a few less phones, but they're still going to be a mega global corporation, even if we haven't inflation run rampant for the next 5 years. Apple's going to be making phones. They're going to be posting billion-dollar revenues and still have cash on hand, and they're even if sales fall off a cliff and just because interest rates are through the roof and demand is crippled. These companies still have a lot of cash on the balance sheet. They're very healthy companies. They're very solvent. So, you know, a stock like Apple or Microsoft could be somewhere somebody puts money in a high inflation environment. If they see that the bond investment maybe that they're in, or maybe, it's just some of these super rich fucking billionaires that got millions and billions of dollars in the bond market and think that, you know, that 10-year, that rising 10-year yields good time to get out of the bond. So, whatever it is, I think some of your big cap tech um, can be a safe-ish place. Whereas, like, Nike's still gonna have a bunch of sales as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean to bash Nike. Walmart's and Amazon's should always do well, but essentially those spending could be curbed in a high inflation environment, which uh, you know could be a little better for a Apple or a Microsoft or a Google that's a very cash solvent company, as opposed to a Walmart or a Nike that is really, really retail driven. But we'll see what the banks do as well. We'll see what the banks. In theory, a rising interest rate should help the banks. I think we saw a end of the day pop yesterday. Um, and then JP Morgan even pushing up in the pre-market. So, we had drop, but kind of looks like there's some buying here on these bank names, which makes sense to me because, again, in theory, banks are safe to an extent. They're safe as long as their practices are safe and they're not doing anything sketchy. JP Morgan, by letting people borrow on millions of shares without actually having the asset or the cash reserves to cover that position, and then not getting margin called when they are wrong about the position. But in theory, banks could and potentially should do well in a high inflationary environment. So, um, I always just keep an eye on the banks, just because that different sectors, travel, banking, commodities, big cap tech, um, just some of the things that stay on my radar. And it really wasn't until this war started where energy stocks really popped on my radar. I've never invested in travel stocks. It's my first time even really looking at energy stocks. But it's good to see these green pre-market here. So I'll tell you one other company that I jumped in yesterday that the position is doing very well for me is IronNet. This is a defense. The news that was popping IRNT up was the cyber attack, cybersecurity news. Excuse me while I get my coffee. IRNT. I got in at 425 yesterday, and it's popped up to 470. So big winner there. But the White House released like 4 or 5 times yesterday the threat of Russian cyber attack. And this stock went crazy. Now, I believe this stock does like missile targeting systems. Like if you remember the Iron Dome that they sent to uh, uh, Israel, I believe, maybe during the Israel-Palestine conflict. IronNet has the like targeting acquisition systems used in some of that. It's like, so again, it just kind of popped on defense stock news, and trends tend to continue. So where we saw this trend continue yesterday, if they're calling for these Russian cyber attacks, you can probably best believe you'll hear more about it. Same as they hyped up the invasion about 2 months before the damn invasion happened, which I think was actually, decent. Obviously, at the time we were like, what the, but ended up being decent intel. So, after we had this first pop here, I think I got in right after this first pop. I was like, oh, this might freaking run. And I think I ended up buying another portion here at the bottom just to average in. And then we got a couple other hits of Russian cyber attack news that really popped this stock off. So, again, defense names I think could do well in a defense environment, in a war environment, and obviously in a cybersecurity type environment, they're going to do well also. So, just a little play from yesterday that ended up running like crazy. So, I'm just in such a good position on it that I'm going to have to see. 450 might be time to go ahead and just cut some bait on this. But I'm going to wait around today, and I'm going to see where the headlines get me to today. And we'll go from there, because it could fall, but this thing could also grow some legs and continue to run like it's been doing. So, pre-market, where we at? The Bulls look like they're winning the pre-market, which makes me nervous. Bitcoin looked like it might have topped out at like that 42.9 for now. SPY 0.29, that's solid green. Yesterday we saw it teetering on the edge of red to green, kind of at a 0% pre-market, where we see a strong green pre-market here, which has me worried. I told you yesterday that I don't love a green pre-market. Even though we saw some names like, if you were in AMD yesterday, you were happy. AMD, I think, still had a great day. So, if you're a Tesla investor, you were still happy yesterday. So, the strong names held up. Some of your more speculative names like Square that we've been talking about did take a small hit yesterday. So, I mean, really dropped hard and then recovered, and different looking charts here, some of your other Unities, some of these other companies, Callaway Golf. So everything was either up a small percentage within a couple percentage points up, or was within a couple percentage points down. So no real major moves on the market yesterday, and this is to be expected, to where we had that, we had a really a pretty slow decline, and again entered the bear market last Monday 20% off the highs of the NASDAQ. And rallied last week. So I would expect that we definitely stay in this range. D Pro is a big mover in the pre-market this morning, and I'm not sure what kind of news D Pro has going on, but let's see. D Pro, DPRO. Dragonfly. Dragonfly zooms higher on order for life-saving drones from revived soldiers, Ukraine. So, Dragonfly is a drone company that's getting some love from wartime. Interesting. DPro, somebody wrote about it on the screen. Uses its patented drone technology so crews can fly thoroughly, spray stadiums, arenas, and other large venues in 4 to 6 hours. For the heads up, so some type of drone sanitizing technology. Weird. IMPP traded very weird yesterday, guys. Be careful. They just opened a public share offering with an agreement with another company, and it's just traded super weird yesterday, guys. Again, I think it could end up being like a $2 stock, but I just didn't like the way it traded yesterday. I wasn't going to invest money in it yesterday when they're actively diluting. So always look at the headlines. Always look at why these companies are popping up, and what the developing head. Like IMPP has been a crazy runner. It's been going 200s and 300% in a day. So it makes sense that they would dilute the shareholders a little bit. Just trying to capitalize on the momentum without hurting the stock price or being threatened by delisting or anything like that now that they're in a good price. So makes sense from a company perspective why they would do it, but as an investor, I don't like to see my sharehold position being diluted by offering more stock shares. So what that would be is, let's say there's, oftentimes these companies will agree with other investing companies to sell them X amount of shares at X sale price, and usually it's a generous sale price, which ends up bringing the stock down because if it's a $6 stock and they're going to sell it to bank, they're going to do this public offering to Bank of America and sell Bank of America $68 million worth of shares at $5 a share. When you're buying that much stock at $5 a share, it's going to hone that stock price like a beacon to that $5, just because that's where you're just pushing a lot of volume at that price, and the stocks are typically going to migrate to the price action that's getting that type of volume done for them. So and I'm watching the scanner. I mean, ENSV is still going 427. Wish I would have chose that as opposed to 9 yesterday, but Hey, Nine and Rig are doing okay. Nine and Rig are doing okay. This is what I sit here and do every morning. So I'm gonna check. Let's see what Europe's got going on. Uh, Europe seems to be up 0.5% to, you know, 0.75% to 0.75%. So um, that's not bad. Europe's looking like they're off to a decent start today. Uh, Asia did great this morning, last night. So Asia was off to a good start. Some of their indexes up 3%. Some of them only up 1.5%. And then the Shanghai is only up 0.2%. But it looked good. So Europe and Asia look good. Um, we didn't really have any news, so that's good. No negative or positive news. We had some crazy fucking news yesterday where Russia dropped a hypersonic missile video and said that I'm gonna have to show you guys these videos because they were freaky. And the Russia hypersonic missile test was said to have had a caption of "This could hit London in 15 minutes." Um, Scary stuff to think about, and that's seems like a real threat. I don't know if unless it was just some made up fucking thing I saw on Twitter, but it seemed like a threat. So, and then I also saw a crazy video of President Xi Jinping or President Xi of China addressing his military. It was fucking nuts. It was fucking Star Wars Empire type shit. Crazy. Um, let's see if I can show you these videos. I think Unusual Whales had it. What the hell are they? You guys gotta see these videos. Yeah, Powell spoke yesterday and was very hawkish. And then we also have a lot of other Fed members speaking today. So be careful for the hawkish policy. In my opinion, uh, these guys will talk tough to get the markets to expect the worst and then give us the best, which is okay. Um, which is okay because it's, again, a lot of it is it's mind games. It's all mind games. It's all a psychology experiment. Check out the BBIG flow. So Monday, heavy call volume on BBIG versus very weak put volume. I'm on it. We did have news that the Apple Car was in talks to be made by Porsche. So watch Apple. Watch Apple. Oh, these hedge funds getting in on crypto. So here's yesterday. You did have a couple that held up: Apple, Nvidia, AMD, Tesla. Then here's your energy stocks. All did very well. All right, these videos got to be coming up. I promise you, they're pretty good. I'm probably gonna have a third cup of coffee this morning. All right, come on. Maybe it wasn't unusual whales. Maybe it was one of my alert. This. The fuck is this shit, y'all? That's some straight Star Wars Empire Galactic Force right there. So, I mean, what the fuck do you do with a video like this? AMD Flow. What we got? Check it out. Check it out. AMD average 3-day call volume 482K Monday, above average call volume for AMD. 3-day put volume 2287K Monday. We have below average put volume for AMD. Uh, could just be you know Facebook Monday, heavier call volume than put volume. So all right, that's a fucking nuts video. And then this video was freaking weird too, man. This is supposedly Russia's hypersonic warhead missile here that they posted with this video and said uh, that this could hit London within minutes. So scary shit, guys. A couple countries really kind of going on this war path, guys. Um, you know, I don't know what to do with that information. But I often think about that is, you know, excuse as a person, just a lonely little civilian in society, what do we do with this information? What do we do with governments interfering in foreign affairs? And I mean, what can you do? I mean, you can vote. You can dictate with your purchasing or your spending power. I don't need a Jimmy John's. I saw the Jimmy John's owner being a fucking dickhead on social media, big game hunting and killing rhinos and elephants and shit, and that's just something I didn't agree with. So Personally, I don't shop at Jimmy John's, and I tell everybody that the CEO is a piece of shit, big game hunter, killing elephants and rhinos, and do with that information what you will. But I don't support Jimmy John's, so we can support with our vote. We can either support or be against something with our dollars, and then we can also, possibly bring awareness to situations and just try to uh, share information to maybe help somebody else make an educated decision. But like, what do we do with what do we do with war? Like, what do we do? I mean, do we just have an ability to understand it and understand that war is going to increase pressure on commodity and just be able to invest in it and try to get rich off of oil stocks? I don't know. I mean, it's an idea. Like, what else? What else do you do with it? Do you bunker down and just and think the world's gonna end? And I mean, no, that doesn't benefit. So I mean, what can you do with some of this high level information of the world to benefit you personally? Um, because that's what it's all about. Like how could you take this information and just and personally benefit yourself? And I know that's fucked up to think about, because what if these people in Ukraine aren't benefiting in it? You know, I don't know what to do with that information, but I can't go over there and save the people of Ukraine. So what do I do? Do I just not, do I do what the restaurants in Charleston did? Do I just, does pulling Russian vodka off of your store shelves uh, really hurt Russia? Is that really doing anything that makes a difference, or is it just signaling that this is being done for a purpose? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just look at how I can use the information personally. Um, so this 4,400 level was big, guys. When this 4,400 level broke to the downside yesterday, we saw the action go downwards, and I don't think it's going to break too far above this, especially on the futures. Just with the uncertainty in the markets, and any headline could bring that back down to 3,900, 4,000. So um, we'll see. Again, we're still pretty green in the pre-market. Bitcoin pushing 43, so um, I think the real action is going to come to the downward side today. U.S. energy popping up, baby. USEG. And I'm in a position from yesterday, so I might go ahead and hop out of these early, hop out of them pre-market, not sure. But so what do we do? Do we just invest in oil stocks? I don't know. I don't know, but I always try to, and that's a lot of just what I like to think about is, you can, because I go hard down conspiracy alley. I go hard uh, down the, United Nations, New World Order type of conspiracy brain type thought, but I always try to look at it and say, how can I, what is the personal benefit of knowing digital IDs are coming? What's the personal benefit of being aware of war and knowing commodities, gold, oil, corn, wheat, fertilizer? What's the benefit of knowing some of this is going up? I guess you could try to get ahead of it. But again, here in Charleston, I'm not too worried about food. I know we're gonna have a local farmers market. starting up pretty here soon. We got lots of local farmers here in Charleston, and our food supply is relatively strong. So, I'm not worried about food. You know, rising fuel prices affect everybody, just as they affect the supply chain. So I mean that affects my job, my sales job a little bit, but um, so to me, knowledge just brings opportunity to invest. The same way knowledge brings opportunity to uh, understand your mind and your body potentially better. Um, Health and wealth. That's where it's at. That's what this channel is all about. Health and wealth. If you can take control of your life in those two areas, you'll feel the difference. You'll feel the difference, and if that's just a you know I pause because it is interesting to think and not just think, but to know and to understand that sometimes people don't have a choice. Guys, sometimes people don't have a choice. Sometimes people, just grow up in an unhealthy environment, which is going to lead to unhealthy physical factors and traits. And some people have a lot of economic constraints in life as well, and we don't forget that. But again, what how can I use what do I do with the fact that we have record number of that we have uh, almost insane amount of homeless U.S. military veterans. What do we do with that information? You know, we have people that are trying their best. I know some personally, and uh, I should give them some money for that task because I think that is a real problem that we have. I think we could have some stigmas, maybe released from society that could potentially help these people, and try to bring awareness to the health side of it. But again, I think it's just health and wealth. Like, if we could give these people if we could give homeless people a sense of, of basic needs met, and ability to feed and sustain their bodies healthily, could they potentially become productive members of society? I don't know. It's just thoughts. It's just random thoughts. It's um damn, it's already 8:04. Right, I gotta get some work clothes on. But think about that. Let's just try to think about what we can do with information that we know, how we can because what's the point in knowing it if you can't do anything about it, or if you can't take any action upon it? um so let's all be great. Let's all be great. I'll probably be here tomorrow about the same time. This past couple of mornings, about 7 o'clock, and we'll go through the morning rundown. I think we have more Fed chairs speaking today. Be careful for the hawkish Fed, and be careful of any headlines. Um, again, real similar as yesterday. I'm watching the prices of oil and commodities, and going to be watching Bitcoin today as well, because obviously doing pretty well pre-market. Um, we'll see, guys. I think we can start to think about our next dip buying opportunity. So we're just starting to think about it now. We're just starting to look at these levels and feel comfortable again with AMD at 115. AMD at 114. I'd like to see Apple at 155 again. Could be a good level. Um, so we can start to think about dips. Now, we haven't had any dips yet. Yesterday was not a dip. Um, but just throwing that thought out there that, hey, we can start to think about possible dip buying opportunities. I have to talk about this tomorrow, but we're going to talk about how hedge funds game stock price, how hedge funds game the stock price during low volume trading times. And we'll be back. I hope you all have a great day.